Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review. I'm looking at this, the Titleist TSR2 Plus 3 wood. So if you've watched my channel before, you know that I've already reviewed the normal Titleist TSR2 Fairway wood, so do check out the channel for that. It was a couple of years ago now, actually. Maybe not one of the first I did, but definitely maybe one of the first with the ACS Golf scale. So yeah, blast from the past there if you want to check that one out. Swing is still dodgy as ever, so no change there. But yeah. But this is a whole different beast. So getting back to this club now, this is a whole different beast. It's bigger. It's designed differently. This is designed to be used off the tee for maximum distance, but also to still be hit off the fairway. So it's like a little bit of a mini driver. So with a mini driver, they're great off the tee, but off the fairway, because they're so large, we're talking about 300cc. I know the Titleist one is 280, but a lot of them are now over 300cc. They can be quite difficult to hit off the fairway, especially if you're an amateur golfer, that high handicapper who's got it in their bag because they need that tee replacement because they can't use their driver. So these sort of plus models from, Titleist, Friction did them as well. Ping, I think they did the stretch version. Quite a few out there. Could be a great option for you guys watching to have something that's going to be a little bit longer than a 3 wood off the tee, give you even more forgiveness because it's a bigger club head, but you can still hit it off the fairway. So that's the reason we're reviewing it, for you guys to see if potentially you should be sticking one of these in the bag rather than going down the mini driver route, or perhaps going down just a 3 wood route and losing quite a lot of distance compared to the driver if the driver was actually hitting the fairway. Because I think this club is awesome. It's, well, so much so, it's actually currently in my bag at the moment. I'll explain why at the end of this video. But anyway, as always, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at this club, come back here, go through the technology that's in it, get down to the range. We're going to throw some very, very impressive figures at you, to be honest. And then we're going to come back here for the ACS Golf scale. All right, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go, and it is a gorgeous looking thing, as you'd expect from Titleist. They just look so simplistic. You know what you're going to get, and they've looked great for years and years and years and years. And I do like this. It is a little bit bigger, however, it doesn't scream oversized for me, which is perfect. I can hit, so I do have a mini driver. I have the Secret Weapon PXG. Review on that will come out at some point. I keep on meaning to do it, but I've got so much other stuff to do before I get to it, unfortunately. So remember to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out on any of that. But I've lost my train of thought now. But yeah, with the PXG, so I love that off the tee, but off the deck I can hit it, but it's going to come out low. And because it's a longer shaft, it can potentially go a little bit wrong. So for me, this is great. And the size of it as well is very confident, inspiring. And it's beautiful. I mean, I've lost the head cover, but you know what Titleist comes down to, it's just a stunning, just a bit of squish there. Been squished in the corner of my office. But yeah, beautiful club. Titleist have always produced some fantastic looking things. Now on to the technology that's in this club. So this was released in 2022. I would say the replacement for it now, because you don't actually have a Plus now, because they haven't released a GT2 Plus. What they've actually done is release a GT1 Tour. That's the sort of replacement for this, I'd say. The GT1 Tour is a little bit bigger, more CG at the front, get that ball up in the air, low spinning, very much like this, but big on forgiveness as well as this. So that's the replacement now, because it's released in 2022, and that GT Tour 1 actually has come out this year. So this has basically been replaced 3 years later than your sort of 2-year cycle that normally happens with Titleist. So there you go. So if you want a brand new one of these, look at the GT1 Tour, because I definitely think that's a replacement for this. But anyway, down to the lofts. So lofts wise, you can get it 13 degrees or 14.5 degrees. Obviously just second hand now. I don't think you pick these up brand new anymore. Maybe wrong, but I haven't seen any myself. So yeah, 13 degrees, 14.5 degrees. Obviously, as you know, titanium mix. You got this heavy weight at the front to lower the CG. And if you read some of the specs on it, so Tour-inspired performance. So the Titleist TSR2 Plus is a new tour-inspired model designed to be long, forgiving, T-bias 3-wood that's still playable off the turf, exactly like the GT1 Tour. So that is definitely a replacement for this. You know, the TSR2 Plus has a larger profile and more forgiveness than the TSR2, making it perfect for players looking for long but more accurate driving options. You've got a deep face-centered CG, so moving the CG closer to the center of the face also aids creating a straighter, purer ball flight. Everything about the CG placement of the TSR2 Plus is designed for hitting it far from with maximum accuracy. So also tour-inspired performance, every aspect of how the club looks, sounds and feels has been tuned to deliver the feel and feedback the players need to play their best. So this is definitely a tour-inspired club, as the GT1 Tour is. I keep on going back to, you know, so move the CG more forward, you know, and behind that face to help with that sort of straighter ball flight, also probably to keep the spin low as well. And obviously because of this larger profile, you know, they're able to increase forgiveness. So this is even more forgiving than your normal TSR2, which is sort of in the middle range of the forgiveness. Because remember, you got your I think at the time it was a TSR1, which was supposed to be a big forgiving one, and you had the TSR2, you know, so this was even more forgiving, the TSR2, so built even more for your higher handicap players or any player who wants something they can hit off the deck, long, straight and powerful. So there you go. Size wise, this was 190cc, so only 15cc more than the TSR2 3-wood, but you know, that can make a big difference. So it does look a lot bigger, and obviously they have moved CG inside it, so even though it is generally bigger as well, it is definitely a different beast to the original TSR2. All titanium, no carbon fiber in this. I know there's Titleist's special titanium, but there you go. And yeah, just a beautiful, beautiful club. Now, let's get, and obviously, whenever you get this, key components, you have their adjustability on here where you can loft it up by 2 degrees, you can loft it down by 0.75 degrees, and obviously close the face as well. I really have always enjoyed the Titleist adjustability. Let's put it back to my setting. There you go. From when I put it back on, realise I'll be playing this weekend with it set completely wrong for me. But yeah, I did all the testing, by the way, of this in 14.5 degrees. I do play it myself 16.5, so I've lofted it up. Well, not 16.5, sorry, 16 degrees. I've lofted it up by 1.5. As I mentioned, go up by 1.5 and go down by 0.75, just to help me with that launch a little bit more. But yeah, you have that adjustability there, sorry, which is great. Okay, now I'm rambling on, so without further ado, let's get down to range, and I'm going to throw some really, really, really good figures at you. All right, let's get down to range with it. So here I am down with the Titleist at the range. Now let's jump straight into those figures. So for me with 3-wood, I normally expect around sort of 230 to 235, maybe even 240 sort of total distance yardage wise. Now for this, obviously it's a little bit bigger, so I'm expecting it a little bit longer, and that's exactly what I got. So on average I had a carry of 220 yards, total distance 254 yards, ball speed 150 miles per hour, really happy with that. Launch angle 8 and height 50 feet, so very low bullet at this 14.5 degree setting. I've lofted up, well, I play with it at 16, and I definitely do get some more height with it, so you can get this thing in the air. You just need to find the right loft setting for you. Longest on the day was 224 yards, carry 265 yards, total distance 152 miles per hour, and the shortest wasn't that bad at all, was 250 yards total distance. So really very consistent with it. Love the feel of it. Feels really nice off the face, and obviously you have a lot of control with it as well, and there is a really good level of forgiveness in it as well. Overall, you know, it's produced exactly what I want. The sound of it is great, the look behind the ball is really nice as well. It's just a very solid Titleist fairway wood, and here's those numbers, there you go, in a table for you. As you can see, the longest there, really impressed by that, 265 yards, and the shortest there, only 250. I mean, ball speed, I did max out 152 miles per hour, which really, again, really, really impressive. And the slowest actually 143 miles per hour, but still I managed to get 251 yards with that shot. So again, even on the bad hits, you can still get some really good distance with it. So there you go, and some really, 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 really impressive numbers. You know, for me, normally if I have a 3-wood in the bag, even though this is slightly stronger than your normal 3-wood, you know, I'd normally be looking sort of 230 to maybe 240 total distance. You know, my swing speed has gone up, so I am getting more distance. But yeah, really impressed with it. And it was easy to hit, you know, really enjoyed hitting this off the deck. I will put my hand up and say, you know, playing off 8, if I could pick the biggest weakness in my sort of well, my bag would be my longer clubs, would be not the driver. Driver's perfect. Well, not perfect, but it's really, really good. Find a lot of fairways with it. But for me, it's that sort of 3-wood or 5-wood or something like that. I tend to struggle with it every now and again, and that really does sort of punish me trying to get into those par 5s and 2 to try and pick up a birdie and stuff like that. But with this, I find it so easy to hit, and it's been a pretty big game changer for me, and definitely saved my bacon on a few times this year on the golf course. So really, really good. And with those numbers, how can I complain? Don't get me wrong, you could say this definitely gives me a gap between this and my 3 hybrid, but you know, if it's sort of 230, 240, you know, generally I can test and be like, all right, do I want to be shorter? I'll pick up the hybrid and try and push the hybrid, which I can do to get that sort of 220. Or, you know, is there no danger behind it? Then maybe I just hit this. And if I hit it really well, I'm over the back, that's fine. I can chip on. So yeah, so really, really impressed by it. So yeah, total distance, I mentioned 220 carry, 254 yards total distance, 150 ball speed, which is really impressive. Launch angle 8 and height 50 feet. We'll mention, as I've mentioned so many times already, I have lofted this up. So distance wise, get a little bit more carry, but a little bit more less total distance. So on the golf course, I'm probably not necessarily finding that 254, even though I definitely have got it up to like 250 mark a few times, because I have lofted up to get that launch a little bit more and get the carry up, which just helps me, especially, you know, UK now, we are in September. Winter will be coming, so I need as much carry as I can, because the ball is going to stop rolling pretty soon, unfortunately. So yeah, look forward to that. But will I stop playing golf? No. You know, rugby mentality, because I used to play rugby for years. If it's raining, just get out on the golf course and still enjoy myself. So there you go. Maybe have a few beers on it though, just to keep me going. But anyway, so yeah, so really, really impressive numbers with that. You know, longest was 265, well, carry 224 yards, total distance 265 yards, and a whopping 152 miles per hour ball speed. Launch 7, height 42, that just came out a low bullet. And, you know, and even the shortest, to be fair, was 250. No, 222, carry 250 yards, total distance 150 ball speed, launch angle 6 and height 51. Slowest ball speed, that's a bit of spinny to left, that's my bad shot. Ball speed, lowest ball speed was actually 143 miles per hour, but that still got me 251 total yards. It came out nice, that one. So yeah, seriously impressed by the numbers on this and how easy it is to hit, and I'm really enjoying it in the bag at the moment. So let's go into the ACS Golf Scale, because I've definitely been chatting long enough. So let's get into it. So remember, we've got 5 categories. You've got distance, looks, price, feel, and forgiveness. Without a shock, distance 4.5. Now you'll be saying to me, hold on, 5's the best, 1's the worst. Why is this not 5 out of 5? Those numbers are outrageous for a 3-wood. Well, the reason is because in this 3-wood category, well, in the fairway wood category that I do also include mini drivers. So mini drivers are obviously going to go further than this. My, you know, Black Ops off the, not Black Ops, Secret Weapon off the tee does go further than this. So therefore, I would never give well, it'd have to be the longest thing in the world to get a fairwood up to 5. I think I might have done one, maybe a couple of years ago, but I don't think it probably should be. I think it should be 4.5. So for me, the max I'm going to be giving for a category of a fairway wood in this is a 4.5, because as I mentioned, I also include mini drivers in there, which relatively will be the 5, because they're just bigger, they're going to go further. And then longer shafts as well. Again, more ball speed, they're going to go further. But yeah, 4.5 out of 5. You will struggle to find a longer fairway wood. In my mind, I know some of you might disagree with me, but from all my testing, this is ridiculous. And I've hit some absolute monsters on it as well on the golf course. I mean, I hit a 240 into wind the other day, with that 16 degree, even with the 16 degrees into wind on a par 5, so it's just off it, chipped on, walked away with a par. Great. That was just my awful chip and nothing to do with this. But yeah, you know, really, really, really pleased with it. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5, longest, I think, fairway wood I've ever tested on this channel. Maybe the Strixon, there's an old Strixon out there that I did test, which is a monster as well. We'll probably maybe fight this for that sort of title, but overall, really, really impressed with it. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Feel, 4.5 out of 5. Really love the feel of Titleist fairway woods. I definitely think they're some of the best producers when it comes down to feel for fairway woods, along with Cobra, I think. and also Mizuno. Mizuno produced some lovely feeling fairways, and this is not just the point. 4.5 felt lovely off the face, felt powerful, knew relatively where my miss hits are. Really, really pleased with it. So yeah, 4.5, and another day might have even given it a 5. Looks, now I've given this a 4.5, but no, I don't agree with that. I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. It is gorgeous. I love the head shape of it. I love that face. Maybe have that face maybe just a little bit more flat on the bottom. Not necessarily, well, it is pretty flat actually. No, I take that back. I take that back. It's a beautiful looking club. Love the white lines. Love the whole decor of it. I actually, put my hands up and say it, I prefer the TSR2 looks, well, the TSR looks over the new GT looks. I just do. Don't ask me why. I just do. But yeah, 5 out of 5. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. Only problem with these clubs is they are black, obviously, and they do start to wear, which is a little bit annoying, but that's what happens when you use your clubs so much because you love it. But yeah, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Don't know why I put 4.5 out of 5. That is ridiculous. Forgiveness, as you saw there, had some really good hits with it. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I think this thing is very forgiving. I think it is giving you, plenty of straightness as well. Again, remember in the category of the mini drivers, so mini drivers probably about that 5 because they're bigger. Possibly not all the time. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. There is so much forgiveness in there for any player out there. It's not the most ultimate forgiving one, so it's not that TSR1. I think the TSR1 will still be more forgiving than this. However, you won't get anywhere near the distance that this produces. So for me, yep, 4 out of 5. Really, really pleased with it. Protects the ball speed really nicely. It still gives you plenty of distance, and it does come out relatively straight as well. Don't get me wrong, if you put a badge on it, it will give you a bad shot. It's not a miracle worker, and it's not going to be the most forgiving out there, but it is still very impressive. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Maybe on another day could have pushed it to 4.5, but there you go. Now on to price. So price is a little bit of a weird one for this because it's like, what am I putting this against basically? Because it's a little bit different from your 3-woods and it's different from your mini drivers. So it's a little bit of a niche, but for me, Golf Bidder, you're finding it for about £182, the second-hand market in the UK, which is around $240. eBay does range. It goes from like £130, £130, all the way up to 160. Sorry, I'm just doing it. I don't know why I'm doing this quick calculation. Obviously, had not fully prepared myself for this video, so apologies here. But yeah, because I always have to put it into dollars. Never mind. So yeah, 100. Here we go. Come on. It's Friday. I'm filming this on a Friday, so definitely getting those Friday vibes at the moment. So yeah, so range from £130 up to £160. Where it comes down to dollars, that's equivalent about what, 170 to sort of $230. So it's a little bit not pricey, but it does range, and you're definitely looking more than if you're just going to buy a normal TSR2. If you're going to buy a normal TSR2, you're looking around £165 in Golf Bidder, for example, which is around $215. TSR2 is a little bit cheaper than this. These do tend to hold their value a little bit more and are more sought after. There's not that many out there, to be honest, so they do hold their value more. However, compared to other sort of clubs out there, I still think this is a pretty good bargain. So I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I think if you struggle off the tee, and you want something to maximize your distance, but you don't want a mini driver because you're like, well, I'm never going to hit that off the deck. It's going to just replace a club in my bag that I don't want to lose. You don't want that. This is a great option out there because it'll give you more distance over that 3-wood. Yeah. But you can still hit this off the deck absolutely fine. As I mentioned before, 3-wood fairway woods are definitely my sort of biggest problem when it comes down to my golfing, and I hit this off the deck perfectly, and that is rare for me, to be honest. Not gonna lie, that is rare. So really pleased with it. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's a bargain of the century. Maybe wait 1 or 2 years because fairways haven't changed, until that GT Tour version comes out a little bit more on the second-hand market, and then you'll find these probably getting cheaper, and therefore they'll go up in that sort of ACS Golf scale for price. So there you go. All right, guys. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I just hope you enjoyed it. There you go. I'm just going to finish there. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, Give it a like if you did. Let me know down in the comments down below, you know, have you played the TSR2 Plus and the TSR2? You know, what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about like plus woods anyway, you know, where they're lower lofted and a little bit bigger? I'd love to know in the comments down below. And also do remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on weekly ACS Golf reviews like this, and also a lot more bonus material as well that is coming out until the end of the year, and next year as well, and the year after, and we will continue going until, I don't know, golf changes, my back goes. Back will probably go before golf changes, especially with my swing. Okay, there you go. All right, guys, see you soon for the next ACS Golf review. See ya.